Hi
Hi
guys.
hi, everyone. Welcome to our lesson this week. This is the week of May 11th. What we're going to talk about this week is we are going to talk about striking. Now, striking is a fancy word for hitting, and there's all different things that you can strike with. You can strike with long-handled things like a hockey stick, but what we're going to talk about this week is we're going to talk about striking with short-handed implements. Before we get into all of that, though, the first thing we're going to show you is we're going to show you the warm-up. Mrs. Fitzgerald found this really cool warm-up. It's a Minecraft warm-up. We know some of you like that. So we're going to show you how to do the first, we're just going to show you a little snippet of it just so you have an idea of how to do it correctly. So I'm going to bring it up now. Let me make this nice and big. So it says you have 10 seconds to choose two of the safest options for the character. So what you're going to do is you're really either going to step to the left or to the right. And then on the next screen, you're going to do that.
You're cut.
So you have 30 seconds, timer will appear along with an exercise to do depending on your choice. You get 1 point for every correct choice, meaning it's the safest. A perfect score is 10. Good luck. It's going to count down from 10, and Mrs. Fitzgerald's going to do it for you. So when the screen comes up, she's either going to step to the left or to the right, depending on which she thinks it's the safest choice. Okay, zombies are attacking. She going to step to the left or to the right?
Diamond sword.
All right, she chose the diamond sword. So in 5 seconds, we'll find out which activity she has to do. And then she does it for 30 seconds. So she's doing the running. Nice job.
This is getting my heart rate up. Woo!
That was awesome, Mrs. Fitzgerald.
Holy.
What?
Skeletons. Oh, I think I'm going to do the wooden one this time.
All right, so she got it the first time. Let's see if she gets it. And then after this one, we'll go back. Let's see. Well, she does it for 8 more seconds. And then she finishes. So she got 2 points so far. So you would do that 10 times. That was awesome, Mrs. Fitzgerald.
Holy. Mrs. Bartlett, that made my heart rate go through the roof.
That's awesome. That's what it's supposed to do. Whew. And that was only 2 out of the 10, Mrs. Fitzgerald. So imagine what happens when you do them all.
Shoot.
That was awesome.
At 122.
Holy
That's
cannoli.
my training heart rate. So
That's
exciting.
awesome. All right, so that's your warm-up. Good luck. That's a good one. Definitely. Yeah. All right.
I
so
love Minecraft.
It is pretty cool. What we're going to talk about now is we're going to go into our skill. So like I said, our skill that we're going to work on is striking with a short-handed implement. So what a short-handed implement is, it would be like a tennis racket or a paddle you would use for pickleball or ping pong or something like that. So what we're going to do, and if you don't have those at home, you can make your own. So what I actually did was I couldn't find one at my house, so I made my own. I did a paper plate, and then I taped some plastic knives on the back. So it's perfect. It's nice and flat. It has a handle. We're good to go. So the skill, what you want to do when you strike an object is you want to make sure you stand up. A nice athletic stance. So bend those knees, a nice stance. You want to use a shake hand grip. What that means is when you pick up the paddle, you want to shake hands with it. And then you just turn it over so it's facing up. You want to keep your wrist strong. You don't want a wobbly wrist when you go to strike something. you want to keep the paddle nice and stable. You want to keep this part of the paddle flat, and Mrs. Fitzgerald's going to go over the parts of the paddle with you in a minute. You want to keep this nice and flat. And then you always want to keep your eye on whatever it is you're trying to contact. So some key words for you to remember is shake hands, a firm wrist, a flat face, and eyes on the object. And Mrs. Fitzgerald's going to go over what the face is. All right, Mrs. Fitzgerald, you ready?
Thanks, Mrs. Bartlett. Mrs. Bartlett, do you notice how eyes on the object is in everything we've been doing?
I know, it's so important.
Yeah, eye-hand coordination. Little ones, we've done that before.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go over the parts of your racket. We could use what you made, Mrs. Bartlett.
Okay.
Okay, so the head of the racket, can you show them where the head would be?
This whole thing.
Perfect.
Whole top round part.
Yep. And the face of the racket.
Right here where you're going to contact the ball, right in the middle.
Yep. Yep, that's the striking piece. And the neck.
The neck is where I have the piece of the yellow. That's the neck of the, it's, if you use a tennis racket, it would be a little bigger, but we just made our own. So.
Yep. And last but not least is the handle.
The handle is
right
this
below
part right here, where I'm gonna.
You have your handshake grip, right?
Yep, right where you have your handshake grip.
Perfect, perfect, Mrs. Bartlett. Mrs. Bartlett, you want to practice some activities?
Of course.
There you go, girlfriend. Here we go. So let's try and balance a ball or an object, whatever you have, balance it. Good job rolling it around. That's a lot of control. Remember when we played red light, green light at school?
Yeah.
That was really, boy, that was so much fun. Okay, now you got that pretty easily. I think you have a lot of control over that. How do you feel, Mrs. Bartlett?
Pretty good.
Excellent. Why don't you try striking the object up in the air?
Let's see.
Woo! Wow, Mrs. Bartlett, I love the way you're keeping your eyes on the target. You're not going crazy and hitting it all over the place either. I like the way you caught it. That's control. That's racket control. All right, you ready for the game, Mrs. Bartlett?
Okay, I think so.
You want to get some type of a hoop or a mat or a towel. You want to have something that you can stand on. Like we have our poly spots in school. Don't get off that mat, okay? And what you're gonna try and do is keep the ball up in the air continuously, staying on the mat. Don't lose your spot. Go for it. How many times can you do it? Don't lose your spot.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
That was awesome. You guys, why don't you see if you could beat Mrs. Bartlett?
Oh, I bet you could. You guys are probably way better than I am.
You did a nice job, though. You started in control. I was pretty impressed with that whole thing, Mrs. Bartlett.
Thank you. And then like Mrs. Fitzgerald said, if you could do that and you have somebody at home with you, try the red light, green light and see what happens.
That's
an awesome
red light, green light.
That's an awesome one.
Okay, so let's go over some questions that you should be thinking about when you're doing these activities. How is the face of the paddle supposed to be positioned when you strike an object? So what was the key thing? Remember the face, that's where the ball contacts the paddle, right? How should that be? What do you think? Do you think it should be vertical? Do you think it should be horizontal, flat? You think it should be behind your back? Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. That'd be like Rafa and hit it between your legs.
Yeah.
Mrs. Bartlett, do you know the answer?
I think it's flat. Nice flat face.
Gives you a lot more area to hit as opposed to hitting it from the side, right? You always want to hit it flat. What kind of grip are you going to use when you hold that paddle? Okay. Remember, what are you doing? What did we say you were going to do? You're going to do what? Shake hands. It's the shake hand grip. Perfect. You're so good, Mrs. Bartlett. And last but not least, should you have a flippy floppy wobbly wrist, or should you have a nice solid firm wrist? What do you think, Mrs. Bartlett?
I definitely think a straight, strong wrist. What that does is that helps you be able to direct the ball more. If you have a wobbly wrist, you have no idea where that object's going to go when you hit it.
Right. And
It's
part of
really important.
striking is having control,
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
hitting with control. That's so important.
Yeah.
So, guys, have fun this week. You can come up with your own ways of controlling the ball also, or whatever it is you're going to use.
Yeah, and you don't have to use a paper plate if you want to use a paddle, or even if you have like a tennis racket, or you can use any type of ball, balloon, whatever you
Yeah.
find around the house too. And Mrs. Fitzgerald actually found this really cool document that she posted it in your Google Classroom. And it's going to be on the s'more. It's going to be about how you can make your own equipment at home. So maybe you'll get some fun ideas from that as well.
And it's all kinds of equipment. It goes from balls to targets to paddles to
Yeah.
long-handled implements. I mean, they're all there. So you might just want to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be a lot of fun.
All right.
Okay, guys, we're not going to see you next week, but the week after that, don't forget Zoom.
Yep. The week of May 18th. We'll see you that week.
Yep.
All right.
Have a
good
great day.
Bye.
Bye.